Hey folks, welcome to this video that'll go over question 3 and question 7 from the points, lines, and planes homework for Math 118. So let's take a look at question number 3. It says, identify the following in the figure shown. Warning, answers are case sensitive. And so I want to point this out right now, just before we even think about how we type things in. When we say that things are case sensitive, we want to make sure that we type in uppercase letters when we see uppercase letters or lowercase letters when we see lowercase letters. Okay. That's probably the easiest place to make a mistake where you're like, I think I got the right answer, but then you type it in lowercase instead of uppercase, and my open math will tell you that it's incorrect. Okay. And we don't want to be in that situation. So let's take a look at the picture real quick. And one thing that we might notice from this picture is that all the letters are capital. We have B, D, F, C, H, and G. And so when we type in any of our answers, we want to make sure we're typing in capital letters. Okay. Another thing we might want to notice is that we have two planes that are kind of parallel, and then we have this plane that's going right down the middle. Okay, so that plane cuts the other two planes in half. All right, let's take a look at the first question. So the first question says, name all the collinear points. All right. And so I think this is an important vocab term here. But when we say collinear points, it means that they're defined to be three or more points that are on the same line. Okay. And so the key number here is that we need three or more points. We can't have 2 points. We want three. And when we say a line, we really mean that line has to be straight. We can't do something like this. That's not considered a line. Okay, so this is a big no-no, but this one right here, this is considered a line. Okay. All right, and we're going to use capital letters separated by a comma. And so collinear, I got to look for 3 points that are on the same line. And if I look over here, I might think BDF, but that gives us like two lines that are actually intersecting. Okay, that doesn't give us one line, that's actually two lines. But if I look down below, I see that I have C, H, and G, and those are 3 points that are on the same line. And so it doesn't matter which order we type them in, but we want to type capital C, comma, capital H, comma, capital G. Okay. Now, if you type in H and then C and then G, that's also fine. Or if you type G first and then H and then C, that's also fine. Okay. But if you type in lowercase letters here, you're not going to get the right answer. All right, so we've got collinear points. That's three or more points that are on the same line. And now let's take a look at part B. It says name all coplanar lines shown in this diagram. And so let's take a look at this word here, coplanar lines, all right? Coplanar lines are just lines, all right? Lines that are on the same plane, okay? So when we have lines that are on the same plane, they are called coplanar lines. Okay, so let's look at these choices one by one. All right, the first one says BD and, get rid of that one, BD and CG. And so I'm going to highlight these two lines. I'm going to draw them here and let's kind of see what we get. So line BD is up here and line CG is down here. But we can see that these are on two different planes. BD is on the top plane and CG is on the bottom plane. So that is not, these are not coplanar lines. All right, next up, let's take a look at BD and HG. So BD is here and HG, again, is on a different plane. So these two are not coplanar. We can put an X through that choice. All right, we have BD and DF. So BD and DF. Now they cross each other, but that's okay. The question doesn't say they can't cross each other, just says they have to be in the same plane. And so this certainly looks like a top runner because they're both in the top plane. Okay. All right. Oops. Now let's go ahead and erase these two. We're going to check that last one just in case. DF and CH. So DF is over here and CH is there. And so again, we have one on the top and one on the bottom. So this is a no-go. And so if we click on that third choice, we should get the correct answer. Okay. All right. So let's move along. Let's go ahead and take a look at question number 7. Okay. So question number 7 says, identify the following. And it gives us a diagram. And on this diagram, we've got 2 lines and they cross at point X. Okay. And I'm going to highlight this little letter A over here. That little letter A is actually what we're calling our plane, that sort of square that everything's laying in. Okay. All right. So let's start. 3 points separated by commas. All right. So I look at this diagram and I see that there are 3 points, Y and X and Z. All right. So I'm going to type capital X, comma, capital Y, comma, capital Z. And if I don't use capital letters, it might not give me the right answer. Okay. All right. The second part, name 2 lines that are on here. So I notice that if I look at this, I've got one line that goes this way. And the 2 letters that are on that line are X, Y. So that corresponds to this one, line X, Y. Right? Now, if I take a look at the other line, I notice that this line is denoted by the letters XZ. So that means XZ is also a line. Now, remember how I said earlier, let's highlight that lowercase a at the bottom, right? So that's a lowercase a, first of all. So that's different from the uppercase A. This uppercase A would mean that there's a point on the diagram that's an uppercase A. We don't see that, so we can automatically say that this one and this one are not lines on our picture. Okay? All right, third question. It says name a plane, and that is that lowercase a that we've been talking about. Okay, I don't know why that ink is so big. Whoops. But that's the plane that we've been talking about, that lowercase a in the corner. All right. So the points are the uppercase letters and the plane is usually a lowercase letter. All right. Choose all correct rays. And so one of the things that we've seen a lot is a line goes like this. It's got arrows on both ends, but a ray is just an arrow on one end. So it's like half a line. Okay. So let's choose our correct rays. Let me get rid of these pictures here. All right. So array, let's see, X to Y. If I start at point X and I go to point Y, that is definitely a possibility. Okay. So X, Y. All right. Next, we have XZ, also a possibility. All right. And then if I think about XY down here, the notation they're using, do you see how they have arrows on both ends? These would mean that we're talking about lines, not a ray. Okay. So we don't want to choose those two because those are talking about lines. We want to look at rays. All right. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.